Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome again to another edition of the EPL Fanbase Show, the show that connects you with the happening in the English Premier League. My name is FM Steve, and I'm joined by the feeling good factor, Josiah. Josiah, how are you?
I'm very good, Steve. I'm enjoying the best times of my life in the last 7 years.
It's good to be a United fan. Okay, welcome to this special edition show. And today we are going to talk about Frank Lampard and what has happened. Frank Lampard, of course, when the league started, everybody was expecting Chelsea to do well, but for some reason, this has not been the case. So today, Frank Lampard has been the second manager to be sacked after Billy of West Brom. So what do you have to say about Frank Lampard and the way he was sacked today? Because from what I'm seeing is that he was preparing to go for the training, and then he just, they say Frank Lampard was brutally sacked by Chelsea in a 9 a.m. meeting on Monday. The manager was on his way to the club's training ground when he was called in. Roman Abramovich held the meeting with Marina Granovskaya and Bruce Buck. Reports claim Lampard was not even allowed to say goodbye to his Blues player. So what do you have to say about this sacking, and was it timing for Frank Lampard to be shown the door, considering that yesterday he had a good result, beating Luton in the FA Cup?
So a lot has been said about the way he was sacked and the manner in which it happened and all that. For me, those are just details. No one will remember that it was brutal or not, as in it was a 9 a.m. meeting. Those are details. The point is he sacked. Now, depending on which side you are on, then you will look at it on that end. You look at it from the end of, objectively, and say a club like Man United or Arsenal still give their managers a chance, and now see at least they are picking up points and all that. Understandable. But look at Chelsea and the way they run their business and their owner. He usually doesn't give time. Unlike Arsenal, for example, which will definitely give at a time. Man United at this point, I think Man United is a very flexible club. Depending on what time it is, they can either sack you or give you time. So, but for Chelsea, we all know how they do things. They don't give you time. Now, with that said, probably you can confirm to me how many points Chelsea are from the top four, but I think they are 6 if I'm not wrong. Meaning, the owner was looking at it at a point of, let me bring in a manager who can still salvage this season, and I still have probably Champions League football next season. Because with continuation of the way Lampard has been playing, it didn't look like it's something that can be done. On top of that, there was 200 million invested last season, as in you will expect he made top four. He was given more money to invest. I know people would want more time for him, but if you look at the owner, it'd be like, with the score that you had, you finished fourth. We are expecting you to close the gap on Man City and Liverpool as past last season's result, like Man United is doing. But we even added you more money. You said you would want to add this one and that one. But look, where is your identity? What is your way of playing football? So I see where the owner is coming from. And for the first time I think the 18 years he has been the owner of that club, he has never come out to make a statement about the manager he has sacked, which was a very big statement to show the respect that he gives Lampard. So for me, that's a big statement to show that it wasn't personal. This is a business. As much as you're a legend and you're always welcome to a club, this is a business, and I need to run that business the way I know how. And we have seen results from that club from sacking managers. They have won how many Premier Leagues in the last, how many years, even if they sack all these managers, because he has a clear vision of what he wants. He wants to win the league to start with. And when you don't look like you are aligned to the same thing, then you know what to expect. Definitely, Lampard was not going to win the league this season. So for him, he doesn't gamble. He doesn't wait. And it's known, and it's not going to change now since it's Lampard. So for me, it's not a big deal. It wasn't a big statement. It would have been a bigger statement if another club sacked a manager. But for Lampard, I think everyone saw this coming. So, okay, it's a big deal because it's Chelsea and it's Lampard and it's a big club. But to me, it wasn't a surprise. I think people should just move on from it and just treat it the way they treated the others. It was bound to happen, so it's done.
Okay, it was bound to happen. But don't you feel Chelsea were a bit impatient, considering that every team, it reaches a time where teams goes through the tough path, just like it happened to Man United. Remember when Ole first came to United, and he had a decent run. Then all of a sudden, I think when he was when now he got the job proper, then he had a bad path, losses. I think it was like 9 losses away from home without any, not necessarily losses, but not winning away from home. But over time, he has now proved that maybe it's all about patience. Look at the great Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson, the Manchester United board gave him more time. In fact, I remember the time when, in the history, when he was about to be sacked, then he was given a bit of time, and he ended up to be the greatest manager of all time. So, don't you feel? Look at Sheffield United. Sheffield United, they've been with their manager now, and he's just there. And you see, it is also believed that he's a Sheffield supporter, fan. He supports Sheffield United. So Frank Lampard being a legend, don't you feel it was a bit unfair of Chelsea, because it takes players a while to gel. Welcome to the show, SP. Feeling good factor. How are you?
I'm very fine, Steve. How's everyone? It's a bit lonely at the top, but we are happy.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So back to your question, Steve.
Yes.
With all due respect, it's very unfair to compare Sheffield the way they run their business with Chelsea. So let's remove Sheffield United from this conversation, because I'll tell you about West Brom and tell you they sacked their manager because they want to remain in the Premier League and they went for the best person. But back to your point on Manchester United and how they gave time. I think I touched on it on my previous comment that Manchester United is never that rigid on the way they do their business. Manchester United, depending on the circumstance, they either would give you time or not. When you look at Moyes, and I understand Sir Alex Ferguson, those were other times. I wouldn't compare it with this time. But as a bigger club as it was when Moyes came in, there were clear indications that this was a wrong move. We all could see, and there was no need of giving him more time. I personally don't think there was, because that's not work for Manchester United. The way he wanted to change everything to be kind of new didn't make any sense. And you've seen the importance of the DNA of Manchester United being maintained. Girl, the pretty much the same. You're trying to change the whole narrative and culture of the club, which messes up. I won't bring in Mourinho to this context because it's still the same thing. But when it came to Ole, I think the reason why they gave him more time is not because he's a legend. Okay, it's a factor, fine. But it's because there is some aspect of the culture of the club being respected and being there in the players. There's an aspect of young players coming in. There's an aspect of a very good run that he had before, even when people mentioned when he was losing, there was that aspect. And now, since you can see that he's fully there, he's fully committed to the cause, there was an aspect of him being given that time. For Chelsea, I don't know why we are surprised by the way Chelsea do their business. It's very staunch. That's the way they run their business. For him, like I said, for him coming out and making that statement that he made, which he has never made for any other manager in the 18 years he has owned that club, was a very clear indication that it is very hard for me to do this, but this is a business. This is the way I do things. I do sack Mourinho, I bring in Conte, and I win the league. For him, it's clear that's where he wants to go. For United, it was a clear road to improvement, a clear road to bringing back Manchester United where it belongs, number one in terms of culture and DNA, and now hoping that you can be able to get to those titles and do it consistently for years. For Chelsea, it's clear. Get me the league next season, leave the other season from there. I don't care about that one. Just get me this season's league. And for sure, him investing 200 million when Lampard finished number 4 was a clear indication that he was going for this league. That's why this guy has been sacked. The owner wanted the league. It has gotten to a point where it's not feasible. He has looked for a manager to at least take him back to Champions League football, since he's just 6 points away from top 4, and probably see whether he can be able to do the same for him. He has done this before. He's going to continue doing this, whether you are a legend or not, whether you're established or new. For him, he wants the league. So for me, it's not a surprise. It's a big deal because it's Chelsea and it's Lampard, but it's no surprise and it's done. For me, that's just the way Chelsea runs its business.
Okay, SP, we are talking about Frank Lampard having been fired today. This is a legend, and in a Monday meeting, he was just called, and he was not even given time to go to the pitch to say goodbye to the players, and that was it. I've seen even many a times in statements they are quite kind good, but this one was sounding brutal considering that this is a legend. And this is the club statement released on Monday. Chelsea criticized Lampard for lacking a clear path out of mid-table, but admitted it was a difficult decision to relieve the club all-time goal scorer from his managerial job. So Abramovich added, this was a very difficult decision for the club, not least because I have an excellent personal relationship with Frank, and I have the utmost respect for him. He's a man of great integrity and has the highest of work ethic. However, under current circumstances, we believe it is best to change managers. So on behalf of everyone at the club, the board, and personally, I would like to thank Frank for his work as head coach and wish him every success in the future. So do you think it was nice to relieve him his duty the way he was relieved?
Steve, it's good to be back in the show, and I think Lampard sacking has been coming for a while. He has, for me, if you ask me, he has survived longer than I expected, and the only reason Lampard has stayed as long as he has stayed is because his English and the English press has not been on his case as much as they have been on other managers' cases. So what that tells you about pundits and football generally in England is that they always hype up their own, and so they want their own local boys to prosper, to succeed. But let's be honest, even when he was appointed, you could see the job was too big for him. I recall a couple of years back when Andre Villas-Boas was fired at Chelsea. Frank Lampard was quick to come out and say it was not the players. He said it was probably because Andre Villas-Boas was pretty young, and that his method didn't work. So that's exactly what has happened to Lampard. He's inexperienced. He does not have, he just couldn't know 6 months since the transfer window closed, what his best starting 11 was. If you woke up Lampard right now and asked him what his best first 11 is, he can't tell you. Zuma had been playing very well. All of a sudden, he's dropped, and Rudiger comes back in. You bought Kai Havertz for a lot of money. He can't perform. You've bought Timo Werner as an out-and-out number 9. Play him on the left side. You've got N'Golo Kante, the best holding midfielder in the world, and you don't know how to play him. You're still choosing Jorginho and Kovacic above N'Golo Kante and playing N'Golo Kante off position. I mean, some things are, you bring them on yourself. And I think for me, Lampard sacking was coming. However, in terms of how the club has sacked him, it's never good to lose your job. But again, like Josiah was saying, it's a results business right now, and we have seen how ruthless the Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich has been over the past years. In his firing of Mourinho, his firing of Conte, even Mauricio Sarri, if you ask me, when immediately after winning a title, and the gentleman invested 250 million, and that's the point that I can't really get over. At least Lampard on his CV will have he'll have that achievement of having had the best summer transfer window last year in spending 250 million, and nothing else that really Lampard has done, because you can't really pinpoint anything specific that Lampard has done. However, if you look at the statement, I think it's a statement that was difficult for them to send out. It's a statement that, for the first time since 2004, has ticked many boxes. It has ticked boxes around, thank you for your effort. It has ticked boxes around, we wish you well for the future. It has ticked boxes around, you're always welcome back to Stamford Bridge in future if you ever need to. If you look at, for example, Mourinho's last sacking, it was a 16-word statement. At least Lampard was long, and you could see there is still some love from the club and from Roman Abramovich.
For the Lampard, they've said he's an important icon of this great club, and his status remains undiminished. He will always be warmly welcomed back at Stamford Bridge. So now let's look at this Thomas Tuchel. Josiah, do you think he'll be a success at Chelsea, considering that he was just sacked at PSG?
I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but the guy had Neymar and Mbappe. Okay, for lack of me mentioning any other players, he had Neymar and Mbappe, and was still sacked. And it's not like he has the best record when he was at PSG. We beat that guy with Ole there, though we were eliminated in the Champions League. But I can clearly tell you with the way I saw them play. The guy, okay, fine. We'll see him. It makes the league more interesting. I have to say that. A German coach coming in, probably a big name, having managed Borussia and PSG, a lot of optimism from Chelsea. But to me, I don't see him getting the success that that his owner expects, which the owner expects the league title. Now, finishing top 4, challenging for, I don't know what, those things, that's not what the owner wants. If it was another club, I would tell you. If it was Liverpool, I would tell you they will look at improvement, they will look at how you. For Chelsea, it's clear, and I can tell you this more that with no avoidance of doubt, the owner expects the Premier League title. And this season, he will cut it for him because he knows that if this guy found the team the way it was, he will hope for a top 4, if not probably a top 6. He will tell him, now get the thing in order from now till the end of the season. As you start next season, one main objective is here, to win the league. Bro, he is not winning nothing, according to me. I may be wrong, I'll be proven wrong that time, but for me, he will get the same knife. Now, without a bigger statement, it will be, if Mourinho, who won, was it 3 titles there, had 16 words, I think his will be 8 or less. So for me, he'll be sacked.
It was good
He'll be
working with
sacked
you.
next season.
It was good working with you. It was good working with
All
you.
the best, my friend.
All the best.
Yeah.